What is up, guys? Hope you're doing well and welcome to this new video where we're going to cover the 4 ingredients for elite success with women. So there are 4 key elements you need to master to become extraordinary with women, to improve your success with women over time, improve your value in the sexual marketplace, and become a competent man, whether with women or in life as well. So the first element is frame. So what is your frame? Basically, a strong frame can only come from a strong internal locus of control. The more you think you have control over your life, and the less you blame the world, the government, people, well, the more you're going to take responsibility and take action in the world. And that comes from building a strong sense of identity. So you need to understand who you are, who you want to become, what type of life you want to live, what type of women you want to have part of your life. And if you don't take the time to define that, if you don't take the time to really build that, then what's going to happen is you're going to settle for less than you could have had. And there's a saying, you attract the right things when you have a strong sense of who you are. If you don't have a strong sense of who you are, you're probably not going to attract the right things into your life. You're going to settle for anything that comes. You're going to just want to make a quick buck here and there, make some quick money, fall into some get-rich-quick scheme, or fuck any girl that comes, because you don't have a strong sense of who you are. So you need to strengthen your sense of who you are, strengthen your character, your identity, understand who you truly are and who you want to become to have a stronger frame, right? And these are some elements that will contribute to having a stronger frame, but there's many other elements. So having a strong identity, as I said, having a strong purpose, having core confidence, deep self-belief, having some reference experiences, having an abundance mentality, having undoubted fear and doubts, letting go of insecurities. All of these things will contribute to you having a stronger frame. Also, overcoming limiting beliefs. A lot of you guys have limiting beliefs when it comes to approaching women, when it comes to having success with women, and even in life, even with money. We all have those, and you have to work on those to get to the next level. Okay, so that's one thing. And this is something that's 100% in your control. No matter what your sob story is, no matter what trauma you had when you were a kid or whatever, you can strengthen your frame and have a stronger frame. Okay? And as I said, it can only come from a strong internal locus of control. You have to believe that you make things happen, that you determine your future, that you can do it, that it's in your control. It's in nobody else's control. Okay, because losers, what they think is, oh, okay, there's nothing I can do for my future. My future is going to reflect my past. Oh, why bother? I've always been poor. Why bother to work to become rich? Or I've always been timid or introverted. Why bother to work on myself and try to get girls? That's not who I am. But what they don't understand is who they are is just a story made up of, memories of their past and stories that tell themselves. It's not like your identity is nothing. You can change your identity. It's just you just need to reframe it in your head, and through the right action, you can modify your character. You can craft a new character over time. So even if you're introverted, you can become more extroverted. Even if you're timid and shy and whatever, you can become extremely confident and extremely social. So there's no limit. You are not your identity. Your identity is not fixed. You can always change it. Okay, that's what a strong frame consists of. And then there's other things. Obviously, your frame also consists of your paradigms, your worldviews. So on a macro level, your frame is basically your worldview, your paradigm, your sense of identity, etc. But then on a micro level, let's say in a conversation with a woman, the frame of the conversation is basically like when we say, okay, like he's in your frame or she's in your frame, whatever, that means that basically who's got the control of the conversation and how you interpret the conversation and how you basically can install a certain frame into the conversation. So for example, if you want to sexualize a conversation, you're going to have to do some sexual framing, for example. So for example, if you want to sexualize the conversation, you're going to have to do some sexual framing. And that's something we can, obviously talk in another video, but there's, a macro level frame, and then there's a micro level frame in the conversation with people and when you interact with others. Okay, so the macro level, micro level. Okay, now the second thing is your value. So the second element is your intrinsic or extrinsic value. And these are some elements that will contribute to your value long term. So your value is something that you can work on over time, but ultimately your value determines your league. Like your value as a man is going to determine who you attract on the sexual market. The higher your value is, well, the higher the quality of the women you're going to attract. And so there's many things that contribute to your value. For example, your business, your job, your career, your achievements, your competence, your skills, your talents, your habits, the amount of money you have, your wealth, your resources, income, etc. And then obviously your looks, your height, your muscles, your age, your style, your grooming, your experience, your knowledge, education, social status. All of these things add up and make up for your value as a man. Okay, so your financial resources, your social resources, your intellectual resources. And that's why every day you must work on increasing your resources, and as I said, there's many types of resources. So there's financial resources, there's intellectual resources, there's social resources, your physique, all of these things. So you have to improve all these things over time. Okay, and same thing, this is something you can 100% control. You can improve your financial situation with hard work. You can improve your physique by training hard. You can improve your looks with better grooming, better style, better fitness. So all of these things you can improve. Now, third, your dating systems and lifestyles. So the third element is probably one of the most important as well. Once you have the proper foundation, once you make a bit of money, once you take care of your looks, etc., a little bit, then what really makes the difference is the quality of your dating systems. Because if you don't have any game, if you don't have any seduction skills, if you don't have any system or strategy, then what's going to happen is you're not going to be able to get results. And that's what I've seen over and over again. I work with many millionaires. I work with guys who, manage multiple businesses, guys who are engineers at a high level in very big companies, or guys who are doctors. I have many, many doctors that I work with. And these guys are intrinsically and even extrinsically valuable. Like, it's valuable to be a doctor and to attain such a level in your career. It's valuable to have all these skills, etc., in the real world. But then with women, they're very incompetent. Like, they're not actually, they don't have a strategy. Like, they're relying on luck. They don't have any game, any strategy or system. And so because of that, even though they have value, they can't actually communicate that value and actually reach out to women and have abundance with women. They're always in scarcity and they don't have a system. Okay, so there's many systems you can put in place. There's verbal and non-verbal systems. There's cold approach systems. So how do you approach a woman in the real world, whether in the street, at the gym, at the grocery store? Like, how do you do it? What is the process, right? There's online dating systems. So how do you actually reach out to women also online and be able to generate dates? There's social circle systems. How do you build a social circle? How do you have friends and connections? And how can you, have a life where, instead of you going out and cold approaching or you DMing girls all the time, you actually have a lifestyle that allows you to have women come to you passively. Like, by you being in a certain event, by you organizing a certain party, by you being friends with certain people, you're able to create situations for yourself where you're always surrounded by beautiful women. Okay, so that's one thing, that's social circle. Then there's date setting systems. So how do you set up the date? How do you conduct the date? How do you make sure that she wants to see you again? Or how do you make sure that you close the deal on a first date or in a second date or a third date, whatever. Also relationship systems. So how do you retain women? Because it's another thing, it's one thing to obtain a woman, but it's another thing to retain a woman. So you have to understand also how to retain women, etc. And I'm gonna come to that in a few minutes. But there's much more. There's many systems that I teach, but those are some of the main systems that we teach inside the Dating Accelerator, for example. And now let's go into the final one. So the final one is your polarity and retention skills. Okay, so as I said, it's one thing to obtain a woman, but it's another thing to retain her, right? So you have to remember that. And long-term polarity in the relationship is key. okay? Because she wants to surrender to your world. She wants to feel your strength. She wants to feel your protection and submit to your guidance. And if you're not as masculine as she wants you to be, what's going to happen is she's not going to tap into her feminine fully, and therefore she's going to return back into her masculine side, right? We both have two sides of us. We have our feminine side, our masculine side. As men, obviously, our goal is to be as masculine as we can. And for women, they should be as feminine as they can, to tap into their true power. Now, what's going to happen is if the guy is not very masculine, then the woman is going to start being masculine with him, right? And she's going to give him a hard time. So the polarity needs to be maintained in the relationship if you want the relationship to work. It's like a yin and a yang. So the more masculine you are, the more feminine she becomes. The more feminine you become, well, the more masculine she becomes. You see what I mean? And so you have to understand those concepts. And what's going to happen usually is men will meet a woman, they're going to date her, they're going to marry her, and then they're going to start settling for comfort. They stop working out. They stop working on themselves. They stop pursuing their missions, their goals, their dreams. They're going to make it all about the girl, right? And after that, they're surprised that, when the girl loses interest or cheats on them, they're surprised that, that it happened, right? So the moral of the story is never let off the gas. Always keep working on yourself. Always keep working on, your accomplishments, your business, etc. Because otherwise, if you just settle for comfort, then what's going to happen is she's going to progressively lose interest and she's going to cheat on you, divorce, whatever, and it's going to go very, very bad. So these are some elements that will contribute to having a strong polarity. So the first thing is masculine leadership and conviction. That's something you can train. Then sexual dominance and mastery. Then understanding female psychology and communication. Understanding how to make yourself attractive to women, but also how to make them hooked to you long term. And there's a way to make them hooked to you long term. There's a way to retain them. And there's a way to communicate with them long term to have thriving relationships with them. Most guys, for example, they're very logical. They always want to find the solution to her problems instead of listening to her problems and instead of, just letting them vent. Because women like to talk about their problems, but they don't want to necessarily have a solution to the problem. They just want to vent about it, whatever, and have an ear that can listen to that. And if you can be that way, and if you can, stop trying to solve her problems and just be there and listen to her and just say you love her, whatever, it's going to be better than you trying to always be logical with her. So that's one thing. That's one nuance, for example. But there's many, many ways to be there for women and communicate with them long term. Now also fulfilling her emotional needs and creating tension. That's a big thing. Knowing how to retain women, having them crave you. As I said, all of these are skills that we cover as well. Okay, so as men, we need to constantly be getting stronger in all these 4 areas. Okay, your frame, your value, your dating systems, and your lifestyle in general, and then your polarity and retention skills. Okay, we need to constantly be building ourselves. And this is our burden as a man, is we have the burden of performance. We need to perform. Even if we're born with money, even if we're born with looks, that doesn't matter. You need to build your character as a man through hard work, through sacrifice, through discipline, and that's how you get into the top 1%. Okay? And it doesn't matter if you have value, if you can't communicate that value and display that value and put yourself out there with women. And that's why dating systems, dating practices are going to make the difference. Because I've seen countless guys who are good looking, they go to the gym every day, they have a business, but they still don't get girls. Okay, and so it's not the end all and be all. Money, status, looks, that's not the end all and be all. What makes the difference as well is your game, your systems, your lifestyle, all of that. And this is something you can 100% work on, and I'd be glad to help you with that as well. So that's pretty much it for this video. And if you cultivate and master these 4 elements, you'll be in the top 1% of most desirable men in the world. So keep crushing it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please drop a like, drop a comment if you enjoyed this video. I hope you like this format, by the way. Let me know if you still enjoy this format, and I'll see you soon in the next video. I'm gonna try to do 1 video a week to help you out. If you want, you can check the link in the description. I have a ton of resources that you can check out. I also have a Telegram channel, I have my email list, I have the podcast, I have everything. And you can also check out my programs and everything. So take care, see you guys soon, and see you in the next video.